Hey friends, Soumya here from Art and Alchemy. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll set our bullet journals up for the first month of 2024. I recently posted my 2024 yearly planning setup on my channel. It's a simple and minimal setup with intentional planning spreads. I've linked it below in the description box. Check it out if you're interested. Now let's dive into our January setup. For this, I'll be using a couple of gel pens, fine liners, and a light grey brush pen. You'll find all the supplies linked below in the description box as usual. This time I'm going for a monochromatic black and white look. First, let's work on our cover page. I'm setting up many spreads differently this time with an intention to keep things fresh yet functional. This month's theme is inspired by the heartwarming drink I enjoy on winter mornings. I usually wake up pretty late during winters, but when I do wake up early, I have the best time sipping a cup of hot water or hot tea in the cold morning. With this theme, I intend to capture that moment in my journal. I wish to experience more of such mornings this January before winter passes. I usually seek inspiration for my themes online, but it somehow takes forever for me to decide on a theme. This time, I want to focus on things around me that genuinely make me happy. So, if you too are struggling to decide on a theme for January, why not slow down and seek inspiration from your favorite things around you? I wrote 2 winter mornings at the bottom to remember where the inspiration came from. On the right, I'm creating a monthly timeline spread instead of a calendar inspired by the creator of bullet journal method, Ryder Carroll himself. I wrote the dates and days on the left. I'm now drawing lines to divide the dates into weeks for easy tracking. That's it for the spread. On the next page, I have my task dump. I use this spread to brain dump all my tasks, then categorize them as urgent, important, or irrelevant. I later assign tasks to upcoming weeks. Next is my monthly focus page. While I work on the illustration here, let me share why I opted for a simple black and white setup this time. I have always admired minimal bullet journal spreads, and after thoroughly enjoying it in my 2024 yearly setup, I wanted to apply the same simplicity to my monthly setup. Another reason is that while I have this uncontrollable urge to start January with a loud theme by creating the most elaborately designed spreads, I wanted to be realistic and start simple. I want to spend time with my family this new year instead of putting immense pressure on myself to start January with a bang. Returning to the spread, I divided the section into 4 parts. First, I write my priorities based on the earlier task dump. Something new I'm implementing this time is writing down my why to truly understand why finishing these tasks is so important for me. This will help me set an intention for my priorities and help me gain a perspective on how I can accomplish those tasks. I will be reviewing how well this idea worked for me in my next monthly setup, so tune back in next month for updates on this. Next, we'll set up our trackers spread. On the left, I have my habit tracker. I had a lot of fun with the doodles for this theme. I'll leave the links to the references in the description box below. If you wish to recreate this theme and feel like the grey color looks too dull, feel free to replace it with any color of your choice. You could even color in the doodles if you wish to. This simple theme and the spreads took very little time for me to set up. I'm setting up a vertical tracker for my habits with dates on the left and habits on top. I find this layout to be the simplest for me to track my habits. I'm tracking 5 simple habits this month. Now, the problem I face with sticking to my habits is that every time I start working on my habits and there's a break for reasons like travel or meeting deadlines, I entirely skip these habits. And once a habit is broken, I find it super difficult to get back on track, which results in inconsistent habit formation. In order to overcome this problem I identified for myself, this time I decided to set specific time boundaries for each habit. To give you guys an example, the time I set aside for reading each day is 30 minutes. Now, on the days that I'm super busy or when I'm traveling, instead of skipping the habit entirely, I can read for only 10 minutes that day and choose to be consistent with that habit. I think this will eliminate A. the pressure of sticking to the habit on busy days, and B. the guilt of not taking any action at all. I hope that makes sense. Moving on the right is my sleep tracker. My sleep habits have been the most inconsistent the past month. Sleep tracker, when used consistently, can be a powerful tool to track your sleep and see visible progress in your sleep pattern. To set it up, I write the dates on the left and hours from 10 p.m. to 9 a.m. on the top. I added horizontal lines to divide the days into weeks for tracking weekly progress and vertical lines to indicate my ideal sleeping and waking hours. My aim is to come closer to my ideal sleep routine by the end of the month. The final spread for this setup is my weekly. I started with a simple illustration here. Like I mentioned earlier, this year I want to embrace simplicity and minimalism. I wish to minimize the time I spend for superficial things when it comes to bullet journaling and instead focus on making the process as intentional and mindful as I can. I use the left column space for my weekly task dump and sorting my priorities for the week. I left space on the right for my weekly review. I added a couple of extra things to finish the spread. I made a last-minute decision to add this black and white grid washi tape to the illustrations for some added interest. I won't lie, I had my doubts with this black and white minimal setup, but now as I flip through these pages, I really admire how simple and minimal these spreads look. It's now finally time for the flip through. Feel free to customize this theme to your liking and tag me on Instagram if you decide to recreate this and any of my themes. Like, share and subscribe if you enjoy my content. Wish you all a very happy new year. I'll see you guys soon in my next video. Bye everyone.